Thank you all for joining us today. We are here to launch the Boston Safest Driver competition. Yeah, woo! This is the second time we will do this, and we've got a great lineup of speakers and partners that have helped us pull this together over the last 6 or 8 months here to bring it back to Boston. It is my pleasure first to welcome Chris Osgood, our Chief of Streets, to open up the ceremonies here. We will do a short speaking program of a few people, and then we will launch into a parallel parking competition. So, Chris, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Again, Chris Osgood. I have the honor of serving as Mayor Walsh's Chief of Streets. I actually just want to start by thanking Chris Carter for his great leadership and collaboration, his hard work, and the hard work of all the members of the Mayor's Office of Newer Mechanics who are here. You guys are invaluable partners in thinking about how we use data and technology and design to advance the Mayor's full list of initiatives for the City of Boston. And in the City of Boston, and particularly when we think about the streets, it is a true administration-wide effort when we think about road safety. Not just the Boston Transportation Department, not just the Public Works Department, but also partners like Sue Benford from our Office of Emergency Management, who is here as well, our partners of the Boston Police Department. It was about 5 years ago when Mayor Walsh asked us to come up with a new vision, a new transportation plan for the City of Boston, something which became Go Boston 2030. And to do that, he asked us not to sort of step back, but actually to step out of the building to our right and just engage our residents. And as we did, the thing that we heard over and over again in neighborhoods across the city is that our highest priority should be safety. Safety for everybody who is on our streets, which is why shortly thereafter, Mayor Walsh committed the city to Vision Zero, an international effort to eliminate fatalities on our roadways, and then back that up with a series of particular projects advocating at the state level in partnership with our city councilors to lower the default speed limit in the city of Boston to 25 miles per hour, to lower it again, as we're working on our residential side streets at 20 miles per hour, and through the hard work of the Boston Transportation Department, led until recently by Commissioner Fiandaca, but she has ably passed the baton on to Greg Rooney and to her team and to his team, folks like Vineet Gupta, our Director of Transportation Planning and Policy, and in particular Charlotte Fleetwood, who I saw a moment ago, but true to Charlotte's form is hiding in the back, but well worthy of a great praise for all of her hard work in really leading the charge at BTD across a whole host of different efforts, from putting in things like protected bike lanes in collaboration with neighborhood residents and Becca Wolfson from the Boston Cyclists Union in places like Mass Ave and Beacon Street, and putting in the city's first cycle tracks on places like Stanford Street, behind us on Commercial Street, on Causeway Street, on introducing new programs through the work of folks like Stephanie Seskin and her team. Things like our very popular Neighborhood Slow Streets program, which is bringing new techniques to calming traffic in our residential neighborhoods. And we were just in the South End and heard a number of residents speaking about the importance of improving the crossings along Tremont Street, something that Stephanie and her team is also working on. And it's not just about those programs, but just in general in the city, putting more attention on things like our sidewalks and our crosswalks, things that the mayor's significantly increased the investment on. And while our approach to road safety really starts at a foundational level around engineering, it is also about enforcement and collaboration with folks like Tom McKay from the Boston Transportation Department and his parking enforcement team, but also about education and engagement. And today is really about the education and engagement of our focus on road safety. And Boston's Safest Driver, and lots of credit to Chris and our many members of the team on this. Boston's Safest Driver is a great way for us to be able to actually ensure that all of us are being very mindful of safety as we travel about the city, about how we take corners, about how we brake, about how we accelerate, perhaps above all, about how we think about curbing distracted driving. All those efforts, the engineering efforts, the engagement efforts, the enforcement efforts, all of those things help us get to the thing we heard from our residents and the thing which the mayor has championed for us, which is to eliminate roadway fatalities on our streets. So it's my honor to be able to both thank the mayor for his incredible support of this work and to invite him to the podium to kick off this next round of Boston's Safest Driver.
Thank you very much, Chris, and I want to thank both Chris Osgood and Chris Carter for their incredible work here. You know, one of the surprises when I became the mayor in 2014 is I had a chance to get to work very closely with the urban mechanics and understand the talent that they have and the dedication and commitment. So thank both of you for what you're doing and the work you're doing and bringing us here today. I want to just give a shout out to the Transportation Department. Obviously, for their great work. We were just in the South End, and I was asked by a reporter from the local press what was the biggest issue I heard today, and the biggest issue really was about transportation, and when specifically about dedicated bike lanes, about better pedestrian crossings, about better signalization, and it's something that I hear every single day, and it's something that I'm proud to say that in the last 5 years we're making more and more investments, and every year if you look at the investments that have been made in the city, it's really changed. Years ago when the bike lanes were painted in the street, it seemed innovative in the city of Boston, and it was innovative at the time, and now we've gone so much further, and I want to thank everyone there. Thank members of the Vision Zero Task Force. I want to thank Libby Mutual, Cambridge Mobile Telematics. I want to thank the Boston Cyclists Union, who do so much work every single day to make sure that cyclists in our city are safe, and not just here in the city, but throughout the country, quite honestly, working together with other organizations. Livable Street Alliance, Walk Boston, thank you as well. And if I missed any advocacy groups here, I want to just say thank you for what you do. Other great partners is A Better City. Rick Domino, who has done so much work, was very excited about the first transportation launch we ever did. Was really excited about that. Seaport TMA, Mashco, and the National Safety Council for giving us a grant to run this program. This program wouldn't be able to be run without it. Boston's Best Safest Driver Competition, developed out of a Vision Zero initiative. We're committed to eliminating traffic deaths and serious injuries by the year 2030. We've seen some gains, but as I say all the time, one accident and one tragedy is too many. You can't take that person back, and you know, we can talk about all the investments we're making, but we really have to get to zero. Since we launched Vision Zero, we've been able to, with the city council and the legislature, lower the default speed limit in Boston to 25 miles per hour. We started in 12 different neighborhoods, slow street projects. We implemented street redesign to slow vehicles, and we're going to continually work at that. We've made progress, but we have a long way to go. Last year on the streets of Boston, 10 people were killed on our roadways. In 2017, there was 16, and in 2016, we saw 21. The work that's been done here, quite honestly, is many of you that are here today. I want to thank you for your work to bring those numbers down. To get to zero, we need to work as a community. We need to change the culture on our streets, something that we've talked about for a long time. So in addition to the infrastructure and planning, we also need to increase education for safe drivers and behavior of drivers, something that has been missing. The Boston Safe Driver Competition, this competition that we're talking about today, will help us in that important conversation. It's fun, it's innovative. We almost lost a spot there. A person drove by, they almost pulled in there, so they kept going, so we're okay. But the results that we saw from the first competition in 2016, phone distraction scores improved by 47%, hard braking scores improved by 37%, speeding scores improved by 35%, and our program has been replicated in cities all across the United States of America, and it's something that it's not just the Boston talked about issue, it's a nationwide issue that we have to continue to talk about. Today we're excited to launch a new version of our competition with supports from Cambridge Mobile Telematics, Libby Mutual, and National Safety Council. We're giving away $25,000 in prizes to those who participate between now and July 28th. And once again, it's open to 101 cities and towns in the greater Boston area, so we're excited about that. This year, we're also excited to partner with local transportation management associations, A Better City, TMA, Masco, and Seaport TMA for a corporate challenge. So something that we're adding a new layer of competition here. Not that we're competitive in Boston at all. You certainly, look at the champions up there, and we won 2 championships this year. We need to win a couple more, and we'll be happy. So we want to win this one as well. So I want to thank you. At the end of the day, the hope is that this competition will encourage drivers to reflect on their behavior behind the wheel, and not just for a few minutes, for the way that they drive their cars, to develop new safety habits while having fun. We're going to be looking at the anonymous data that we receive to identify potential locations for improvement on our roads. Those spots that we know, some of those spots that we have to make investments in, but those other spots that we might not be talked about every single day. So it's not only a good competition for all of you, it's good for the whole city, because it's the opportunity that we take the data and the information that we find, and we make investments in those areas. You can download the app today and sign up. We want you to tell your friends about this, and we hope that everyone has fun. And good luck to the drivers competing on the parallel parking initiative today. Hopefully, you know, when you learned how to drive, that was a 3-step process. You're going to remember that, and still a 3-step process, and you don't have to yell at anybody because there's no one around you today. So, but I just want to seriously thank you today. This is a competition, but the competition, the real intention behind this is making sure that our roads are safer. So I want to thank all of you for being here today on this beautiful, rainy April day in Boston.
Thank you, Mayor. We are fortunate in Boston that we have a really strong group of transportation advocates. It's hard to pick which one would actually fill this role in a speaking program. They've all been so great about pushing us when we need to be pushed and pulling us when we need to be pulled. Voices on the Vision Zero Task Force, as well as sort of helping community members find the right place they need to go to sort of advocate for the things that they care about. It's my pleasure to welcome up Becca Wolfson from the Boston Cyclists Union, who has been a tireless advocate for making our roads safer, not just for cyclists, but for everybody that is out there. Becca?
Great. Thank you for that introduction, Chris. And thank you so much, Mayor Walsh, for the kind things that you said about our work. We are really proud to be partners with the city in all of their Vision Zero efforts. The Boston Cyclists Union doesn't just believe in making the streets safer for people to bike, but we hope that Boston continues to move towards being a city that's safe for people no matter how they're getting around, whether you're walking, biking, using public transportation, taking a scooter, or driving. And we have a long history of working with the city to make this possible. A lot of it goes back to our work with the city in 2013 and 2014 in coding bicycle crash data with the Boston Police Department. We used People Power, a team of 12 interns and staff, to create a first and an important asset that was the foundation of the City of Boston's adoption of Vision Zero in 2015. We should be proud we were the 13th of now dozens of cities across the country to adopt Vision Zero. And now the city is looking once again to use People Power to advance Vision Zero, but in this case, shared public pressure and spreading public understanding that there's a lot of responsibility involved in being behind the wheel of a car. Gamifying safe driving is a smart way to use the public space to encourage good behavior. It's also a great way to get anonymized data that can help the city further understand where do changes need to be made on the ground. We know that speeding and distracted driving are two of the most dangerous behaviors that lead to injuries on our roadways. Anyone on a bicycle can peer into a window and see people eating a sandwich, talking on the phone, texting, looking at Google Maps, typing things in, and this, we're hopeful that once again, the Boston Safest Driver will continue to engage, educate, and lead to safer streets for everyone. So thank you so much, and may the best driver win.
Thanks, Becca. This program would not be able to come together without some very strong partnerships from some of our corporate sponsors in the city of Boston here, as long as the National Safety Council. We have developed this relationship with Cambridge Mobile Telematics over the last 2 or 3 years. They have been great partners in this, as well as advocating for safe driving across the city of Boston and around the country. Liberty Mutual has been at the table with us. See, everybody loves Liberty Mutual. Has been at the table with us from the very first day on this project, as well as sort of a great corporate citizen in the city of Boston. And Catherine Carlson from the A Better City TMA, which when we said we want to have corporations compete against each other to see which employees are safe drivers, jumped at the chance to be with us. So I'm going to sort of introduce all of them at once, and they're going to come up one by one. Ed Keneally from Liberty Mutual Insurance, Ryan McMahon from Seaport Telematics, and Catherine Carlson from A Better City TMA. Ed?
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the introduction. So Liberty Mutual is proud to partner with the City of Boston and Cambridge Mobile Telematics to sponsor Boston's Safest Driver competition to help reduce risk and dangers on the road in the city and throughout all our communities. Even though we're approaching the end of Distracted Driving Awareness Month, all drivers should be aware of their own driving habits every time we get behind the wheel, and we should focus on safe driving practices. We believe that both raising awareness and the dangers of distracted driving and driving behaviors in general does play a key role in changing behavior. And providing incentives, much like this contest is doing, can certainly help move the needle. At Liberty Mutual, we believe progress happens when people feel secure, which is why for many years Liberty Mutual has conducted research on different distracted driving behaviors, especially with young drivers and their parents, to educate them about driving safety. All of us see it every day, especially here in the city. People on their phones, at red lights, stop signs, checking their emails, sending a text. It seems it's almost become an acceptable behavior. But remember, even a quick glance at your phone at a brief stop can create a dangerous situation by removing your focus on the road, as your surroundings can change in just an instant. So take the challenge, download the app to help you become a safer driver. We want our neighbors here in Boston to be knowledgeable, confident, and safer drivers. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Ryan McMahon from Cambridge Mobile Telematics, and I'm excited to talk to you today about our mission and participation in Boston's Safest Driver. Our mission at Cambridge Mobile Telematics is to make the road safer, and we believe that that starts with the driver. Through the sensors on the mobile phone, we're able to provide feedback to an individual on their driving trips, on their behavior, specifically to the acceleration, braking, speeding, cornering, and most importantly, distraction. Distracted driving has become an epidemic in our society. And it's not just in Boston, and it's not just in the United States, it's worldwide. The World Health Organization has reported that distracted driving is an epidemic. In their 2018 Global Safety Report, they listed that smartphones and other distractions are causing significant injuries on roadways worldwide. Specifically here in the United States, the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute, in their 2016 report on driving safety, identified that 36% of accidents could be completely removed if distraction was not a factor. At CMT, we have seen this effect directly as we combine data from smartphones with behavioral analytics to then determine how to provide feedback to an individual on their driving behavior. Our data suggests that drivers are 13 times more likely to get into a crash if they're distracted than those that aren't. And that affects everyone. It's not just the individuals that are distracted every day, but it's also the people that share our city's streets. All this information is valuable then if it can be provided back to the driver in a way that they can understand, so then remove the behaviors that are causing those crashes. Adding incentives like partnering together with Boston's Safest Driver helps us amplify the effect that we see naturally from feedback. And hopefully together, this continues to drive safety on our roads. CMT is thrilled to participate in this effort, and thank you to the mayor, thank you to Chris Carter and the Office of New Urban Mechanics, and thank you to Liberty Mutual for the participation in this event.
I know I'm the last speaker between all of you and the parallel parking competition, so I'm going to keep this very short. Thank you, Chris, for that nice introduction. I'm Catherine Carlson, the Director of Transportation at A Better City, where I also lead our Transportation Management Association, or TMAs as everyone has been calling them. And I think I can speak for most people who walk, bike, drive, and generally travel in the city of Boston, who are appreciative, Mayor, of this focus on safety and Vision Zero, and are incredibly excited about Experience of Boston, where everyone is trying to be a safer driver for the next 12 weeks. So I plan to do a lot of walking and bike riding then. But as a representative of the TMAs, for those of you who don't know what we do, we're member-based organizations. Our members are the largest employers, institutions, and organizations around Metro Boston who join us so that we can help provide for them and help encourage their employees find more sustainable forms of transportation on their daily commute. But part of making it easier for people to choose sustainable forms of transportation is making the streets safer for all. So on behalf of A Better City TMA and my colleagues in this field, especially Masco and the Seaport TMA, the other two main City of Boston TMAs, we're especially excited that the city has added the corporate challenge piece to this year's competition. Now, not only can you prove to your friends and your family that you're the safer driver, but you can also prove potentially to your boss and all your coworkers that you're the best on the team. Understandably, participation by employers, especially those with a large number of commuters and commercial fleets, is essential to meeting our goals of Vision Zero. We're lucky that our A Better City TMA membership includes some truly incredible leaders in the business community who go the extra mile to be proactive and to help us reach our road safety and sustainability goals. And in fact, my colleague Pat Sullivan at the Seaport TMA just told me this morning that Vertex has signed on for the corporate challenge, and so we're very excited to encourage some of our other large employers here to get in. Don't let Vertex show you up. We're still looking for a few good men and women to take on this challenge. If you haven't signed up yet, today is the perfect time. It's the start of 12 weeks. As we all know, it only takes about 2 weeks to form a habit, so you can go talk to your bosses now, get your company signed up, and join us in making the streets safer through this fun and beneficial competition for all. Thank you, and good luck to the parallel parkers.
All right, so as Catherine alluded to, that concludes the speaking portion of this. We have a couple of things that people need to do. The first is to download the app, so I can wait for you to pull out your phone and download it while you do that. What we are going to do is we're going to actually, behind where all the cameras are, is sort of a designated parking space, and that's what we're going to use. So we're going to allow the cameras to take a moment to rearrange themselves as they need to as we transition into that part. As we know, safe driving is also a key part of safe driving is about safe parking, right? It is about searching for a parking space in a thoughtful way where you're not distracting and looking away from the road. We know from the study that Becca referenced a few years ago that 18% of the bike crashes in the city of Boston are the result of a car door opening into a bike lane and hitting a cyclist. So there are lots of things that, not just about driving on our roads, but things about how we sort of maneuver to the curb that are very important. I'm excited to say that today we have 3 contestants as well as 3 judges to score them on their behaviors. This is the very first ever Boston parallel parking competition, at least that we're aware of. And those 3 judges, I'm going to have them sort of come up here and join me once they get called out. So Emily Stein, president of the Safe Roads Alliance. She could come on up. Carlos Boy, who is a City of Boston parking enforcement officer for the past 22 years. Carlos. And John Marcino, who is an AARP volunteer driving instructor. So these judges will be looking at each driver's efficiency, their safety, their style, their precision as they sort of come around and park in each case. To do a live play-by-play of this event, we have invited somebody that has been calling parallel parking out his living room window for maybe his entire life and judging people. But Carmel Levy, our friend from the MBTA, MassDOT is up here. He's going to do sort of live play-by-play. It is my pleasure to turn the microphone over to you, sir, as we enter into this.
Thanks, Chris. I know you said that this is the very first parallel parking competition in Boston. I want to let everybody know that there's a family-friendly MBTA bus rodeo every year. And I haven't seen it yet, but I'm very excited to do so. Where are we on getting started? Are the drivers coming?
I think we're going to wait just for 2 or 3 minutes before the drivers come, or when the cameras get reset after they do this.
Fantastic. Let's take a moment to interview our judges on what they'll be judging our contestants on. Emily, what are some of the things that you're... Oh, it doesn't come out of there? Here we go. Oh, fantastic. There you go. So, Emily, as president of the Safe Roads Alliance, what are some of the safe behaviors you're going to be looking for from some of our competitors today?
So safety-wise, we will be looking to see if they first check their mirrors, if they are actually turning around to look behind them, making sure there are no little kids, walking behind their cars, and yeah, we'll see how many cones they avoid.
Fantastic. Let's make sure that they all keep safe. Carlos, you were telling me earlier that this is a very large parking spot. Can you tell us a little bit about its location and size?
Well, yeah, I thought it would be a little more smaller, so that would have been a challenge. I think anybody can do it. So if you drive a smart car, it's a walk in the park. But yeah, we're going to be judging, seeing like people are not distracted, people looking the rear. Vehicles nowadays, they have blind spots. You got to be careful with that. Make sure that even when you're backing up and you look, you know, people are still walking behind you, so you got to be careful with that. And let's see what happens. Hopefully, see who wins.
Thank you, Carlos. And our third judge, can you remind us of your name?
Yes. Hi, my name is John Marcelino. I'm state coordinator for AARP, driver safety.
And so do adults need some driving training too sometimes?
Oh, definitely, definitely. We all need to actually go back and revisit the rules of the road and some of the safety aspects and also the new technology that cars are offering today.
So what's some of that new technology that improves safety but may also be distracting to drivers?
Well, we have parking assist, but the distractions that come to drivers, of course, is cell phone use and Bluetooth cell phone use when we actually are thinking about the conversation that we're on versus who's around us and what is around us.
Fantastic, I appreciate it. So let's move over here as the maybe I shouldn't. He's busy, that's great. Well, I'll take a moment.
Notice as she rolls down her window for better visibility, she's beginning the approach now. No co-touch there. Not satisfied with her performance yet. I couldn't see. Did we hit a cone? One last look out the window to make sure. And there we go. She calls it quits. Thank you, Bernadette. So now it's time to pull out of the parking spot, move forward, and we'll go to our judges. Emily, how did you feel about Bernadette's performance?
I think she performed very well under all this pressure.
Agreed. That left side parking spot wasn't easy.
Definitely hard when everybody's watching you and you're under that pressure. Plus the left side is always difficult.
We'll see how the other contestants do. And lastly, Carlos, how did you feel?
Well, it's difficult, like they mentioned, you know, when somebody is watching you, you get nervous. But she did okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see how the other contestants do. And are you ready to render your scores? All right. Let's do it. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Bernadette gets 2 5s and a 7. And as we tally those scores, we're going to wait for our next driver. And here he is from the North Quincy Auto Academy, Jacob. Jacob's been teaching kids how to drive for a while now and is proudly representing his organization. He's here on the approach. Very confident swivel. He's moving back into the parking spot. Jacob has let me know that he's disabled his backup mirror, video, just to keep things on even keel. That was very sharp. Maybe even overconfident. Very close to the curb. Jacob, are you satisfied? We're done. All right, we've got the thumbs up from our competitor. Let's go to the judges. Emily?
Okay. You can't get closer to the curve than that.
It was very sharp.
Definitely a perfect parking space.
Really well done. Carlos?
Excellent.
All right, we've got pretty much great reviews from the judges. Let's see the scores on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm seeing 3 10s, folks. 3 10s. Very well done. And now we're waiting for our third competitor coming down North Street. Ian Butterworth is a student at MIT, is a researcher by night, also a researcher by day. It's a 24-hour job. It is a manual, folks, so a little bit of added challenge. Pulls a little bit past the spot. Great blinker action there. Very careful on the approach. Maximum style points. Now, Ian has let us know that this is doubly weird for him since he is from England and usually parks on this side of the street, but is usually on the other side of the car. One move forward, and he seems to be satisfied with the performance. Thank you very much, Ian. All right, those were our parking competitors. Let's go to our judges. Emily.
All right. Extra points for the switching side of the car and for being a manual.
Excellent. John?
Good job. Love the color of the car.
Really impressive. And Carlos?
Overall, he did okay.
All right. Everybody's doing okay. I like that. Are we ready to render our scores? Okay, it seems like we are. And 1, 2, 3. We've got an 8, a 9, and a 9. Pretty good, but not quite good enough. Thanks, everybody. Let's have our 3 competitors come down to the winner's circle and receive their trophies.
And our reigning parking champion for the Workforce Boston Invitational is Jacob. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Stay safe out there.